and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Black Monster Cup. We're here for the grand finals of our winter season 2014. If you've only just joined us, we've already seen our first game between H2k-Gaming and SK-Gaming Prime, and H2k looked incredibly strong, taking a very convincing victory. Again, my name is Munchables, and casting with me tonight are, of course, Sigilis and our special guest, Aranea. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Expecting and SK trying to win the second map so we can have a third BO3, a third map.
Yeah, I hope that as well, and I'm also doing good. That last game was fun to watch, I have to say. Forbiven's Jace was just unbelievably good, and unsurprisingly, both the Jace and the Lee Sin have been banned out. Lulex and Forbiven gonna have to pick different things this time, but Gnar made it through, and that does get instantly picked up by BMC, so it's so strong right now.
Yep, I think he's a pretty strong champion, but not really like the strongest top laner we can have or something. I think champions like Lissandra can actually deal fine against Gnar. Not early levels, but after you get the Molodonamicon, you can pretty much lane against Gnar.
Yeah, I mean, definitely Lissandra is one of those champions that we've been seeing a lot recently in top lane and does very well against some of the bigger pickups that we keep seeing. But, you know, looking over at the first rotation, coming out of H2k, they go for that 80 carry jungle combination that I was talking about earlier, Pantheon and Corki. Not too surprising to see that.
Yeah, I didn't expect to see Lulex picking Pantheon, but the fact that Jarvan is banned because of a bug and Lee Sin is banned by SK Prime let Lulex only kinda able to play this Pantheon or probably even Rengar. But he probably gonna pick he picked that Pantheon because of the early game potential, and that's what pretty much Lulex is famous for, his early game ganks and so on.
Well, we certainly saw that last game. Obviously, the early game was where H2k picked up their lead, and from that point onwards, they just snowballed it. So, in my eyes, picking up something early like that Pantheon suits H2k as a team, not just Lulex as a player, but the whole of H2k. That is how they won last game.
Yeah, definitely. And having that Maokai is gonna be it can be funny because we're gonna have once again. Oh no, it's gonna be Rumble. Most likely top lane against Gnar. I thought it was gonna be once again Lissandra, but good bro pick Lissandra, also to counter that Lissandra for Arne. So we're gonna have pretty much a Gnar against Rumble top lane, and a Lissandra against Forbiven. That Forbiven is famous for playing assassins like Fizz and Zed. So he can't really play that champions against Lissandra, because actually Lissandra is pretty strong against them.
I actually really like the pick and ban phase that's coming out of SK-Gaming Prime this time around, knowing that we weren't likely going to see the top laner locked in the first rotation for H2k meant that they could get both the Gnar and the Lissandra and make both of those solo lanes weaker due to what's been banned out so far. It was a really smart decision to do it in that order, and for the last two picks it looks like we're going to be seeing Kha'Zix and Lucian. How do you feel about Kha'Zix up against Pantheon, Arnea?
I think Pantheon is really like stronger than Kha'Zix, especially early game, and I feel like Kha'Zix needs some kind of early kills or something to go in early game in his favor to be a really reliable jungle. Otherwise, he's just really weak, and he only can bring some poke with a double D upgrade into a team fight, into something. Because I feel like Kha'Zix is one of those junglers who get more affected by the new jungle, and he's not as stronger as he was on the early patch.
Yeah, it certainly seems that way. Well, we've only got one more pick to go through. It's going to be the middle laner for Forbiven on H2k. They've only got 10 seconds. It looks like they're thinking about a Xerath, and I actually quite like that pickup because, as you said, it's hard for him to play an assassin, which is what he really wants to do, into that Lissandra. You know, every time you go in onto her, she's just going to use that Ring of Frost, Frozen Tomb, and get away quite easily.
Yeah, the only thing I'm not 100% sure likely of Xerath, that he's just way too mobile. Like he cannot really survive if Lissandra just go forward to him with the ultimate. The other thing he can do is like timing perfectly the stun. top Lissandra after the E. But after that, if he got ultimated by Lissandra, he's gonna pretty much die. I would probably prefer something like Orianna that has like a speed and a shield to don't die instantly from them. But still, if he play really good Seraph and poke him really well early game, because he actually has the range enough to poke Lissandra, he might win the game, win the lane hard.
Yeah, there's definitely the potential for him to do that. So if you look at the compositions as a whole, the good thing about picking Xerath in this match is that later on it's going to be hard for Taiki and Binsu to get onto him. Xerath can just stick very far back and use his poke damage to avoid getting too close to the hard engage that's coming out of SK Prime. So hopefully, if he positions well, I think he can deal with that quite nicely.
Yeah, I think it's too. And right now, like in terms of comp, I think in the bottom lane, the Corki Thresh is really strong, as we saw last game, even though they kind of lost because of the push potential from Shiver. For mid lane, it's going to be pretty much for Fabiban, especially because Kha'Zix can't really gank Seraph without Lissandra being level 6 and dropping his ultimate there. And for top lane, I think it's going to be for Gnar. But the problem is, like, on the other side, they have a Pantheon. That if Pantheon does only one good gank into an Gnar, and they can snowball the lane with Rumble one more item than Gnar, then it's gonna be pretty hard for SKP to come back from that. But I hope they can manage to BMC beat Auto Amne in top lane. We will have like a long game and a good game from SKP.
Yeah, that's definitely what I'm looking forward to as well. I'd love to see this go to 3 games, but guys, we're going to head to a short music break before we jump into our second game of the best of 3 between H2k-Gaming and SK-Gaming Prime. This is the grand finals, guys. H2k are 1-up. Can they close it out, or can SKP come back? Don't go anywhere.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Black Monster Cup Winter Season 2014. You're here for our grand finals between H2k-Gaming and SK-Gaming Prime. The first game has already gone over to H2k. Let's see if SK Prime are going to be able to get back into this if you've only just joined us. My name is Munchables, and casting with me today is of course Asigalis and our special guest Aranea. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing great. Expecting a lot from this second match from SK Prime.
Yeah, they really need to make something happen to get back into this, because last game was not particularly close. It snowballed out of control in H2k's favor very early on. This game, though, SKP need to make sure they don't fall too far behind early if they want to be able to win this.
Yeah, because if they fall behind early game against a Seraph and a Corki and Rumble, they're gonna have a pretty hard time to reach this backline, because it's pretty much like they have no initiation with the SK Prime composition. So the only initiation they have is Lissandra, sorry. But they kinda need Lissandra to hit like 3 ultimates on the 3 guys, that's kinda impossible. And it's gonna be pretty hard for them to do something against this long range comp of SK.
Yeah, they really need to find a way of getting in deep. Actually, this is a really nice invade on the Krugs. Oh, Voidal got it! So they actually got the experience there rather than SK Prime. That's a really nice start in the bottom lane for H2k. They also didn't take any of the damage from the Krugs, so they're going to be looking a little bit better off straight away into lane. But what I'm thinking is that maybe SK Prime need to pick up some items that let them get in the face of H2k. Maybe a Righteous Glory should be coming out here.
I'm not sure why did SK Prime try to do that Golems without a vision there, but that was pretty risky. And the moment that Thresh got that small Golem, he's gonna reach level 2 before anyone, and this is gonna be the hard moment for them.
Oh, he actually lands the hook!
Yeah, they did go in there, and Steelback going to be able to get away. Obviously the Ignite burned as well, but he manages to survive narrowly. But that obviously with that Ignite burned, did have to cost them a flash and an exhaust.
Yeah, that's a pretty good early game by 2k bottom lane. In the moment that Thresh got the small golem and can reach level 2 fast, and he went instantly aggressive when he reached that level 2. And right now, like, they kind of dominate, they're gonna dominate this bottom lane when they should not be able to do that that early. I hope this is not gonna be like last game with Sivri all the time pushing, because if this is gonna be like this, with Thresh and Corki, they have a lot of kill potential, and with one hook they can actually kill them.
Yeah, it's going to be down to Voidal to actually land some more hooks and really snowball the lane if H2k want to do that. Also, Hjarnan, he didn't have to burn anything there, so the fact that Steelback doesn't have flash means that if, for example, a gank comes out from Taiki, they don't have the same level of pressure that they can put back onto H2k's bot lane.
Hjarnan is actually playing really smart and really good. Like, he's poking all the time and the correct moment. He's actually dropping a lot of auto attacks to the champions all the time, as we can see right now to Barney.
Yeah, if he keeps up that pressure, it's going to be very difficult for SKP's bot lane to keep farming under the tower forever like this. At some point, they're going to have to go back and heal, and then Hjarnan can just get rid of some of those minions to the tower and start securing himself a nice lead. At the moment, he's already doing very nicely in CS compared to Steelback, and unless Steelback can get all these minions under the tower, it's going to snowball harder and harder as the game goes on.
So, some decent trades going on. Lulex trying to get a gank in that middle lane. Barney D could be in trouble. That's the death sentence going to land onto him. Has to flash away from that one. He's going to be able to survive, though.
Oh, mid lane for Bivin has to flash away.
Yeah, I think we are slightly out of sync. Having a couple of little issues with the spectator client. I'm currently at 5 minutes 25 on my game. Just wanting to double check that my fellow casters are at the same time as me.
I'm 5 minutes right now.
Yeah, same. I'm going to restart.
It's okay, I'll jump back 30 seconds. Good go. Okay, so now we see the death sentence land onto Barney D, as I just said. Has to flash away from that one. Not sure what happened there. Apologies about that, everyone. But we should be a little bit more in sync now as we reach this 5 minute 20 mark. And we see Voidal and Hjarnan pushing out this bot lane. And CS already slightly in Hjarnan's favour this game.
Yeah, he's doing a good job of making sure that Steelback is so threatened under the tower that he can't CS freely. God, bro, oh, he can't Glacial Path!
No, he's going to get stuck in that mid lane. A nice shocking up is going to lock him up. He has to flash away. Can he get away, though? No, he can't. Forbidden picking that one up. Taiki trying to get the counter kill. The heal comes out there. That's going to keep Forbidden alive. Gets the mana back with his passive. Can they finish this one off? I don't think they can. Nice little sidestep by Taiki to dodge that.
I think that was really good gang by Lulex, and at the same time really good stun by Forbidden. Wait for the Lissandra E to be almost over to stun him, so he has no chance to go back to his E. That was really good. And right now in the top lane we're gonna see a kill.
Yeah, so we're going to see Odoamne actually going down there. Nice pickup there by BMC, managing to get that 1v1 kill against his opponent. I mean, we saw Odoamne doing really well in that top lane last game, so possibly could be seeing that going the other way around this time. SK Prime's top laner doing an excellent job up there.
Yeah, this lane is a little bit more difficult for Odoamne than the last. Previously, he was playing Lissandra into Maokai, which obviously means that he can sit there and spam spells from a distance and try and make something happen. This time round, Odoamne is on Rumble. He's kind of a short-range champion. You have to be quite close to Gnar to get the Flame Spitter damage down. And as a result of that, Beanso is doing a great job of harassing him out from far away. Taiki trying to come in this bot lane, but a good Dark Passage keeping him out of that.
I like the little Howling Gale there trying to stop that.
Yeah, that was really risky by Hjarnan to get the Dark Passage at that time.
Oh. Howling Gale again, just narrowly missing, but Voidal could be in trouble here. We see Taiki jumping in, gets the slowdown with Void Spikes, but the death sentence just going short there. Not quite going to land that, and with Hjarnan very low mana, they're not going to be able to follow that one up.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice attempt by Taiki to try and bring this lane back a little bit for SK Prime. They have been behind up until now, and they still are behind a little bit in CS, but really, they need assistance if they want to win this 2v2 because of how far ahead H2k was at the very beginning. Even now, as I said, the wave is stacked in such a way that Hjarnan pretty soon is just going to be able to start freezing this lane potentially near his tower if he wants to. And that means that Steelback's going to have an even harder time getting CS.
Yeah, so going to be having a little bit of difficulty in that bot lane. CS is even fairly across the board right now. Xerath a couple of CS ahead of his opponent. The only real difference being in the jungle right now, where Taiki is making work of Lulex.
Yeah, what Catholics has to do is try to farm a lot, because Catholics gangs are not as strong as Pantheon gangs. But at the same time, what I'm really surprised is by the top lane farm. Like, they kind of have the same farm, when I think Nars should be able to kind of outlane Rumble at this point, especially when he got a solo kill like he did.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't really been putting as much pressure down as you might expect. Grand Skyfall on the bottom lane, though.
Yeah, we're going to see Grand Skyfall coming through. Steelback could be in trouble there. A nice Howling Gale stops the stun coming through. And the Exhaust as well, just completely negating Lulex's gank, and also ran out of mana. And Hjarnan also there, so not really able to follow up properly.
Look at how
Yeah, that was a
early
good
the
try.
Hex Drinker was picked up in the top lane. BMC should be able to put down a lot more pressure on Adwamne than he actually is already.
That was a good try by Pantheon.
Oh, we're going to see the Gnar ultimate coming through onto Adwamne. He's able to flash away from the wallet, though, so not going to be able to follow through for that one. I believe we are a couple of seconds behind the actual stream. I'm just trying to fix this for you guys. But Adwamne could be in trouble in this top lane. He's getting aggressive on. There's the Ring of Frost. Taiki managing to pick up that kill in the end. And that's the second kill of the game now coming across to SKP.
That was a really good gang by Taiki and Goodbro. Going top lane at that moment that Rumble had this Wish Flash 5 seconds earlier, and he was completely out of the tower. At that point, there was nothing Adwamne can do more than trying to run in this line by Hex.
Yeah, I think it's really smart that they're applying a lot of pressure to the lane, which is naturally a little bit stronger. I mean, obviously, we were talking about the fact that, mid lane though,
Taiki could be in trouble here. Lulex manages to pick that one up. A lot of damage coming out from Forbiven there. A nice shocking orb just locks up the Kazakhs and picking up a second kill. And now he's getting some damage down onto Godbro. Forbiven doing work this game. Right, the Arcane comes through. Can it finish it? No, it can't. The ultimate from Godbro. Not quite in range to go for another Arcane Impulse.
Yeah, that was actually a really nice Frozen Tomb at the last second to block that. But, you know, Lulex tried to come in to finish it up. He wasn't able to get there in time. But if you look at the middle lane, Forbiven is actually doing a really good job against Godbro this game. He is up about 15 CS or so, and, you know, because he's on Xerath, that's going to mean that he is able to just pressure him from a distance. He's also got that kill. He's going to pressure him from a distance and try and force Godbro back as much as possible, make it hard for him to roam like he did when he was going top to get the kill on Adwamne.
I think this gang from Catholics was kind of misplayed and mispositioned, because the problem was, like, he stole enemy red buff, he stole Lulex's red buff, and right after that he had his blue buff up to do it for Goodbro. So the only thing they had to do is going for blue buff, setting up the blue buff for Goodbro, for Lysandra, so she will have a fresh blue buff and a lot of CDR to use farm against Forbiven. But instead of that, he tried to get mid lane. He died because of that. He gave his blue buff to Pantheon, and after that, he even lost his blue buff to Xerath. So that was kind of misplayed by Taiki to gang there.
Yeah, maybe biting off a little bit more than he could chew. And it's important that SKP, we were talking about it earlier on, that they don't fall behind early. At the moment, they're not far behind by much. They are a few 100 gold behind, but they're doing a better job than last game at the very least.
Definitely, especially top lane. Like, top lane last game was pretty much 0-5 or 0-6 at the early game, and this game is actually Binsu beating Adwamne in this 1v1.
Yeah, doing a really good job up in that top lane and getting a little bit ahead in CS as well. 10 CS there, and we can see that jungle, that sort of gold variation there, and another 13 CS in favour of SK. Looking across the board though, the mid lane and bot lane are both starting to fall behind. Forbiven doing an incredible job in this mid lane. Already has that kill and an assist, and just over 20 CS ahead. Godbro nearly going down, has to use his ultimate on himself yet again, and this should secure the dragon for H2k.
Yeah, Forbiven is doing such a strong job in that mid lane, just poking Godbro out continuously. That is pretty much the only reason why they could go, like, taking the tower and pressuring Godbro like that is the reason why they can afford. Oh my word, Godbro is so low in that mid lane, just able to get away. But like I was saying, the only reason they could go for that dragon is that they got that early tower and they forced Godbro back so heavily.
Yeah, I think Forbiven is doing a great BO3. Like, the first game with Gaze, he kinda carried in the moment that Taiki fail on the dive on mid lane, and this game he's handily destroying Godbro in this 1v1 scenario at this point.
Yeah, it's difficult for Godbro, especially in that early game, to get damage onto Forbidden, due to the fact that Forbidden just has such a huge amount of range over him with that Xerath pickup. So he's really playing to his strengths and making sure that he snowballs the lane as hard as possible. Similarly, in this top lane, we're starting to see BMC edge out ever so slightly over Odwamne. He is similarly just playing to the strengths of the matchup. He knows that he's got the range edge, he's got the ability to all in a bit more effectively, and with the ganks that he got earlier as well, he's doing a really nice job, although taking tower shots is not what he wants to be getting.
Definitely.
Also, I have to say how Steelback is playing really good this series as well. Last game he ended up 3-0-1 with Corki, the only one who didn't die on his team, and this game is actually having the same farm as Corki, even though he got level 2, he got pressure early game by Thresh grab, and he had to waste flash, but still he's managing to get the same farm as Corki. So he's actually props to him to doing a good series as well from the SKP part.
Yeah, managing to keep up to his lane opponent, and as we head into that mid game, that is going to be a big deal for them. It's going to mean that when we get to those objective fights, he's going to be able to try and at least get close to matching that Corki mid game spike when he hits that Triforce. Obviously, Corki's damage spike is slightly bigger than Lucian's, but if he can get that Infinity Edge by the time Corki gets the Triforce, he'll be in a much better position. But actually, Steelback taking a lot of damage from that Phosphorus bomb.
Yeah, this point is pretty hard.
Mid lane.
Oh, Godbro in a lot of trouble, but that's the beautiful ultimate from Godbro. Absolutely destroys Forbidden's health bar, and he survives on about 10 HP there.
I don't know what was Faven doing that head on the lane.
Oh, Steelback!
Oh, the Death Sentence lands onto Steelback. He's so low. The Ignite is ticking. That's a kill for Voidal. Nicely played, but in the meantime, Odwamne's in trouble in this top lane. The slow's going to go down. There's the equalizer, though. BMC could be in trouble. We see the man drop come through. Lulex has arrived. The flash away from Odwamne is going to keep him up. BMC with a nice flash as well. The jungler's going to pick up the kills onto the top laners, and now we're into a 1v1. Lulex versus Taiki, and this is another fight that Taiki wants. He has to flash away from that one. Has his jump available now, so should be fine to walk away, and it's a 1-for-1 in the top lane.
Man, as soon as we hit 15 minutes, it was as if both teams just said, alright, time to fight. Every single lane just went crazy at the same time, and overall, it was a fairly even trade across the board, but bot lane, it's important to note they got that tower. There's still no towers taken by SK Prime. They do not have the same level of map pressure that H2k have.
I'm not sure what was trying to, like, what was Barney doing bottom lane. In the moment he got Thresh grab Lucian, he still had the ultimate, Janna, so he could probably just knock back everyone and try to make Lucian survive, but still, he didn't waste the ultimate. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, it was a bit of a weird decision not to use that to save him. It didn't just result in Steelback dying, it resulted in the tower dying as well, which is a very big deal. So maybe he needs to be a little bit more trigger happy with that. But looking at his top lane now, they've actually set Corki up there. Looks like they want to fast push this game, try and get all three of these outer turrets down very quickly.
Yeah, what they're gonna try to do right now is to just move all the pressure of the map to the top lane to try to get this top lane tower with like Thresh, Pantheon, even Xerath can roam top lane, and they have pretty much 5 men in top lane because Rumble has a TP to go anywhere.
Nice little Valkyrie there by Hyun, and could have been in trouble with Taiki going to that top lane. Actually, Taiki used his ultimate there to try and secure that gank, and then was obviously unsuccessful. So that's going to be on cooldown for if he wants to try and get pressure anywhere else on the map.
Yeah, now Voidal is finally up here assisting Hjarnan, so they're going to have the full duo in this top lane. They've sent Odwamne to that bottom lane to try and farm, and I think this is actually a really smart play coming out of H2k. They know that now that they've pushed up both these other lanes, it's going to be hard for Hjarnan to farm in the bot lane if Lucian decides to freeze it, or if, you know, there's some roaming coming out of other SKP members. So by sending that duo to the top lane, it's going to be a bit easier to deal with the fact that the tower is going to be pushing the minion waves out fast, and they also want to get that tower so that they can start applying pressure deeper on the map.
Godbro again narrowly surviving from that right of the arcane from Forbidden, and Forbidden being absolutely merciless in this mid lane. He has managed to pick up an advantage and he is not letting that slip anytime soon. 30 CS ahead still in that mid lane, and now we see the whole of H2k rotating towards this mid lane tower. This possibly could be a tier 2 going down.
I think it's gonna be going down pretty fast. I thought Forbidden wasn't doing the correct work to do, because the thing you have to do is just press the top lane after or before this Drake. But still, if he managed to put good bro out of the lane, right now it's pretty good because they can get this tier 2 tower and instantly rotate into Drake to secure a second Drake. They're gonna lose probably second tower if they don't do Drake fast enough and they don't let Rumble teleport top lane fast enough. But still, it's kind of worth because they get still a tower plus a Drake.
Yeah, and obviously this being the second Drake means that they've got some additional pushing power. That's going to be very useful for them, as, you know, if you look at the way they're trying to play right now, it's very tower focused. They're trying to get push down towers rather than going for picks or something like that. So this is exactly the dragon buff that they are looking for.
Well, this is how you have to play with Seraph, man. You have to group, poke someone, put someone low, and just take a tower. Like, you are not really going to focus on team fights or trying to get kills or picks or anything. You're just trying to like push and put someone low, and after putting someone low, get an objective into that.
And they're doing a great job of that so far. Although SKP, as of recently, have managed to take 2 towers, they're focusing on this bottom one now. Odwamne and the rest of the team are here, though. This could result in a fight. There's a TP, actually. They really want this tower.
Yeah, and that's going to make the minion tank it longer, but now the ultimate comes through from Godbro. And nice, Sonya's going to keep Odwamne alive, but it's not going to keep him alive for long. That's going to be Nah picking that one up, and BMC 2-on-1 now, and that bottom tower goes down.
I'm not sure what was Odwamne doing that deep there. They had like no wards at all, only on the blue buff, but that was displaced by Voidal. So it was kind of a mistake for him to be so deep without the vision of the enemy champions.
Oh, Forbidden.
Forbidden could be in trouble here. Does a lot of damage to Taiki though, but now BMC's coming through as well. Nice flash. Dodges out from that slow. Now Lulex is going to be the focus target. Again, flashing away from these boomerangs. BMC is going to be happy with that. He just burned 2 flashes with those boomerangs there.
Yeah, really nice job by him.
Really strong.
Oh, Barney D, they're still trying to go for stuff though. Voidal, I think he could probably get away from this if he can dodge his boomerang. Yeah, really nice job there.
The thing that Binsu, the items of Binsu, like he runs the Frozen Mallet. The Frozen Mallet together with the boomerang is a lot of a slow every single time you attack or you hit that boomerang. That's why every time he is just focusing someone with this small Gnar form, they kinda need to run away. And that's a waste from Pantheon.
Yeah, Lulex using his ultimate maybe a little bit overexcitedly there. Overexcitedly is not actually a word, but
wasn't the grandest of Skyfalls.
It was not indeed, but saw someone backing on that ward, but not able to get there in time, and that's going to mean that's on cooldown. But I mean, a third of the cooldown already gone now, so should be up again relatively soon. And looking at the scoreboard, this game much closer than the last game. SKP only 1,000 gold behind. At this stage of the game, they were already about 15,000 gold behind last game. So looking to be much more of a contender in this one, but they are slowly but surely falling a little bit behind. They are down on towers. Obviously, that tier 2 mid lane tower being down is a big deal for them.
Yeah, the main thing of this game is last game it was H2k is playing pretty good and some mistakes from SK Prime, but this game is for me is just like H2k is not playing as good as last game. Like SK Prime is not committing the same mistake as they committed last game, and they are like H2k is not grouping enough, and they are not like pressuring the correct lanes to get something out of it. Like they should be just grouping like Serath and Corki together, sending Rumble with a teleport to another lane, and even like Pantheon can go between both lanes to just man drop anywhere. But they are just like just running around the map, just not pressuring enough. Like right now Serath is doing nothing, and mid lane the second tower from S2K is gonna drop because no one is there defending.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like SK Prime are just doing a little bit better on their rotations this game. The last few towers have been completely uncontested and taken very easily by them. And also, I think they're making some really smart choices with their items too. That frozen mallet on Binsu is going to be really useful when it comes to these team fights, because we've already talked about the fact that it's going to be hard for them to get onto the back line of H2k. So by picking up an item that's going to slow your target, that's going to let you stick to that back line a lot better. It just seems like SKP overall have really upped their game.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Looking across the map as well, we have, despite H2k getting pretty far ahead to begin with, they got those 4 towers very quickly. We've now got a mirror on this map. Both the tier 2 mid lane and towers are down, and then we've got 1 tower on the top and bottom lane each. So evening up those towers, the only difference right now, obviously the gold very close. However, we do have those dragons on the side of H2k, so we'll have to see if they're able to use that siege damage to their advantage. Obviously, since the new patch, second buff now is 15% extra damage to turrets and structures.
I feel like the warding that's coming out of H2k really isn't quite good enough this game either. If you look at where the wards are, there are a lot of them kind of quite close to their side of the map, when they've already taken so many towers that they, and they're ahead. They should be trying to pressure deeper. So the wards, in my opinion, should be further into the jungle of SKP than they are.
The main problem is like they are not just grouped enough. Like at this point is the they just need to group up and just go warding and pressuring at the same time. Like the main problem they have is if they go deep in the jungle, as you said, to just put a ward deeper, they have not really engaged and they don't want to team fight as SK Prime want to do. So at this moment, if Lissandra can catch anyone in the jungle, it's the perfect scenario for SK Prime to win a team fight. The only thing H2k has to do is grouping and pushing. That's the only thing they have to do to win a game.
Well, they're grouping now, and it's not pushing though. They're trying to get this dragon. Binsu gets hooked.
Binsu gets caught out though. He's going to get very low. The ignite is ticking away on him, but he should be okay now. Godbro jumps in onto Lulex, using his ultimate onto himself. That's going to keep him alive. A nice equalizer across the entire team, and that's going to be Lucian picking up 1 kill. Oduamne having to get away. He silenced himself with that overheat, and now the death sentence narrowly missing. Barney D getting aggressed upon by Hjarnan, but he's not able to follow up on that one. Forbidden trying to pick up the kill. A nice little dodge by Taiki. Flash forwards from Oduamne, but he's not able to get it, and we see SKP running away. Everyone's health bars are blinking, but it looks like they may be okay. The Scrying Orb going to spot them out though, and it looks like H2k have decided not to chase this one.
Yeah, that should be a free break for SKP, but still, that's the kind of team fights I was talking about. Like if Lissandra can go into the jungle and just go in the back line, like to Rumble or something like this, and focus with the ultimate, they gonna win that team fight.
There's a TP here. Lulex isn't nearby to smite this. Binsu coming in could completely stop this dragon attempt.
Yeah, we're going to see Oduamne teleporting in here. There's the man drop as well. He's able to get that dragon away from their opponents, and that is their 3rd dragon of the game. Going to have that extra movement speed now, and that's going to mean that wherever SK rotate to, they're going to be able to get there that little bit quicker and possibly negate something. But SK looking like they're going to start off this Baron.
This is a very aggressive move, but it looks like there are pings from H2k. They know that it's going on, and they want to get here and try and stop it.
Can they get here in time, though? It's going down very quickly. The jungler is just arriving. That's Lulex there. Can he get the smite steal? It's going to go down. That goes down to Lucian. Lulex now on the front line. He is going to go down. Yes, he is just. And now we see Oduamne with a nice Sonya's taking away that fire damage while he's golden. But that's going to be 2 kills and the Baron going across to SK Prime, and they're back in the game.
Forbidden missed every single right of the arcane. Everyone was so low. If he'd landed those, that could have looked very, very different for H2k.
Yeah, and Pantheon flashing without a smite up. He was just trying to get like a lucky crit with his Q. Like low HP natural crit with the Q and trying to steal it. But without a smite was kind of hard to get it against Cathix with the Q and the smite.
So, we're seeing very, very early and very quick Barons in this tournament. I mean, I think it was the last game, might have been the game before, we saw a 20-minute Baron. I think it was on the 3rd place finals, and now we're seeing this 27-minute Baron as well. And I mean, it seems to be purely off just off someone just going back to base. They picked up that dragon and went back to base to spend some gold, and immediately the Baron is taken away from them.
I have to say, picking up the Baron for SKP is one of the best objectives that they can get right now, because like Aranea keeps saying, H2k really want to be pushing down these towers, and if you go to a lane and buff up your minions like that, it's going to be way harder for H2k to accomplish that goal. Look at this mid lane now. Look at how little damage Forbidden is doing to those melee minions. At this point, they cannot push until the Baron has expired on the side of SKP.
Yeah, that's the risky part of letting like a free Nashor to S2k as it happened. This is gonna be really tough right now for S2k to come back. Probably the best thing they can do is just waiting for the Baron to expire, and after the Baron expires, trying to group up once again and trying to push the lane. But if they don't group enough as they did on the pass of this game, it's gonna be pretty hard for them to win this game. Like SK Prime teamfight is pretty hella strong.
Yeah, I mean, Godbro, just being able to get in there and use that Frozen Tomb on a priority target is going to be very good. Previously, we talked about the fact that it might be difficult for them to get onto the back line, but at the moment, these Baron buff minions are giving them so much space to maneuver that Godbro could quite easily come in for a flank.
Trying to get some damage down onto this top lane second tier tower, but at the minute, they're not being too successful at sieging out here, obviously. Steelback, Beansu and the Barney D in this top lane. Then we have the mid laner and the jungler across this bottom and mid lane, and just trying to get some sieging going, but so far not particularly successful.
Look at how little, I mean, I talked about this before, but look at how little damage Edwame did to those melee minions in the bot lane with Flame Spitter. It's almost impossible for them to properly stop this siege coming out of SK Prime. They need to maybe catch someone rotating between lanes, or they just need to weather the storm and wait for this Baron to go away.
I think they have to wait for the Baron to go away and then try to do something. At this point, if SK Prime take correctly the advantages by pushing, like they're doing right now in bottom lane and they are doing on mid lane, they're gonna have a really long advantage for the rest of the game.
Yeah,
they actually need to secure this first Drake. First Drake adding this 6% damage is pretty good for them, for the whole team of SK Prime.
Especially at this point as well, where it's going to deny the 4th Drake for H2k-Gaming. That is going to be a big deal. Obviously, one step closer to that 5 Drake buff, which we all know is incredibly strong, gives you that true damage tick, and obviously doubles all of those other buffs that you've gained from the Dragon previously. Yep. So not an objective that they want to give away.
The good news for SK Prime is that because it's at this late stage in the game where they can properly teamfight, especially in the jungle of the river, right? That's where they can really teamfight the best. Because of that, it's going to be very hard for H2k to go for that 4th and 5th dragon. Beforehand, earlier on, they had the advantage of Lulex being very strong early game, Rumble being in a pretty good position earlier on, and Hjarnan being quite strong. Now, they don't really have anything in their favor when it comes to fighting around this dragon area, and as a result of that, picking up those final 2 dragons might be a very difficult task for H2k.
Yeah, the only thing they can try to do is waiting for SK Prime to start a Drake, and then try to poke them as hard as they can. But if they cannot poke enough,
the equalizer goes down. Godbro already very low. That's the Monsoon going through. This is not a good fight for SK. Beansu going to be the first casualty of this fight. Hjarnan jumping forwards, trying to chase onto Taiki in the meantime. Godbro is going to get sniped out. No, he's not managing to flash away from that right of the arcane. The last one hits onto him, but with his ultimate down, he is going to be going down a nice Sonya's as well, though. Able to survive a little bit longer, but he goes down. Hjarnan picking that one up. Now Taiki jumps in onto Hjarnan, but he doesn't have the damage. That's another kill. 4 for 1 right now, and H2k out of nowhere managed to nearly ace SK Prime.
Yeah, Godbro tried to jump in there onto the back line of H2k, and because Hjarnan just Valkyrie'd over the wall, he found himself completely out of position. The equalizer came down in the perfect choke in the jungle, and that was such a nice turnaround from H2k.
That was a really bad team fight for SKP. As you said, like Lissandra failed trying to reach the backline. Lissandra could not get anyone. Rumble did the perfect ultimate, and Gnar was between anyone. Like Gnar was in a really bad position there. But he instantly died without doing anything. Not even like randoms, not even the ultimate, nothing. So he kind of dropped out with doing nothing on that team fight, and it was pretty much a 45 in favor of S2K.
Yeah, and as a result of that, they also picked up their 4th dragon, being able to get that minion pushing power, because obviously this is 4.21, guys. They swapped around the tower and the minion pushing buffs from dragon between the 2nd and the 4th buffs. That means that now they're going to be able to push out these waves a lot better, and that is very useful for their current, what they need to do at the moment. It also means that they're 1 dragon away from 5 dragon buffs, and that is definitely something that could snowball the game into a position where they could win.
The only thing I'm liking from this SK comp or this game is pretty much the rotation they're doing, like where they're moving and stuff. Like right now, once again, SK Prime doesn't have bar up. They have 4 dragons. They have to push. Like they don't really need to do an Asher or bait an Asher or anything. If they try to do this and Lissandra come from a good position and ultimate or Corki or Sarah, they can still lose this game. The only thing they have to do is just push all together with the Sereth and Corki poke, and there's nothing that SK Prime can do at that point.
Yeah, I mean, the disengage from H2k is so strong as well. If you're pushing down a lane and you start to get engaged on, all you need to do is lay down that equalizer in the box, and everyone gets slowed so much that they can't properly chase you. But at the moment, it doesn't look like H2k want to do that. Here comes BMC.
Yeah, BMC jumping in, has his Mega Knot ultimate. That's going to lock up Xerath. Forbidden getting taken down so quickly. There's a nice equalizer. BMC still staying alive. The Monsoon going to keep him up. No, he finally goes down. Taiki now having to flash away. He's going to be able to jump away. The Hex Drink keeping him up a little bit longer. And nice Sonya's from both of them going to keep them alive, but a nice flash forwards picks up 1 kill, but he goes down as well. Now Voidal, one of the last men remaining, he's trying to get away, but he's not going to be able to. He goes down, and it's an ace for SKP.
I'm not sure what was that team fight from H2k. Like they used when Gnar was going forward to them, they see Gnar gonna reach the Mega Gnar form, and they still get closer to him, and they even like all misposition. Like they were all super split. Like they have to be together and focus Gnar at that moment. In the moment he's coming to you without the Mega Gnar form, and before he reaches the Mega Gnar form, just back away or just don't let Sarah drop in 1 second like he did there. That was kind of misplay by H2k on that team fight.
Forbidden dying instantly is definitely the biggest factor in them losing that. He has been providing so much damage in all of these fights up till this point. He didn't even get an opportunity to Zanya's there. That's how hard he got locked down. But to be fair, props to SK Prime for noticing that he was a little bit out of position. BMC did a great Gnar ultimate onto both him and I believe it was Voidal on the side there. So really nice job by BMC to get that.
Yeah, it was pretty much BMC winning that team fight alone with that engage into Forbidden.
It's kind of a flip around on what happened in the jungle, actually, where BMC mispositioned very badly. Yeah. Clearly, he's got the potential to make these plays. He just needs to be a little bit more consistent if SKP want to have the best chance of winning. They're certainly still in it, though. In fact, if you look at the gold lead, they're ahead. That's new. That's not been like that for too long.
And they kind of need, like Thresh kind of need to help Sereth out of these team fights. Because Corki has his own Valkyrie, his own jump to run away from Lissandra or Gnar, but they kind of need the Lantern to go into Sereth to just make him survive. Otherwise, like, Fabian is not going to be able to run away from a Lissandra combo or an Gnar combo like it happened last team fight.
I'd quite like to see a Mikhail's Crucible actually picked up by Voidal. At the moment, they don't have that available to them, and there's a decent amount of CC. Like, if you could Mikhail's Crucible the Frozen Tomb from Lissandra, that could completely turn a teamfight around, yet for whatever reason he's decided to prioritize some other items instead.
Yeah, not opting to go for that one just yet, and we're going to be seeing Dragon's going to be up in 1 minute and 15 seconds, and this is a huge objective for both of these teams right now. SK pushing out this second tier bot lane tower right now. It's going to be difficult for H2k to clear out these minions quickly. Obviously they have that Baron, but a lot of poke coming down. Actually the box used by Voidal.
He thought Lissandra was going there, and that was kind of bait from Godbro, and I don't know if it was a misclick or just he really thought Lissandra was joining.
Yeah, maybe he was a little bit trigger happy there, but the fact that that's not available means that their disengage that I was talking about earlier just got a lot weaker. The box is one of the best skills for that. And now, we're in the same situation we were in about 7 minutes ago, where these Baron minions are just so difficult to deal with for H2k. I think especially if SKP were maybe to send Gnar to a different lane, this would be so difficult for H2k to actually deal with.
Yeah, Gnar right now can split push, and with the super minions, with the Nashor, he can just go 4 men into a lane and Gnar into another one. Like, Gnar can actually go mid lane, and there is no one from H2k that can really stop him at this point.
Oh, we're going to see the flash forward from Voidal. The death sentence doesn't land though. There's the equalizer. BMC could be in trouble. Turns into the Mega Gnar. A nice culling melts down Lulex's health bar. Now Odwamne on the front line gets exhausted. He's going to go down. A double kill coming across for Steelback. That's going to be the triple kill for him. And this is definitely the second tier tower going down in this bot lane. The Dragon is available. They've managed to stop right now H2k picking up their 5th Dragon, which would have been a massive comeback for them, and they're pushing on to this bot lane inhibitor tower.
Baron's worn off though, so these minions are a lot weaker. Whoa, Yarnan!
The crits are real.
Yeah, Yarnan gets burst down. Right, but then bottom lane inhibitor has gone down, and SK are looking to come back into this game. They were pretty far behind a little while ago. Now they're heading down towards this Dragon.
I'm not sure why that teamfight Thresh just went in with the flash trying to grab Lucian. And the moment he failed, the team was completely over to them because he was completely mispositioned. Rumble had to throw the ultimate to try to stop them, but there was like non-stop against a Nashor team. And with this advantage they got right now, I think SK Prime has a really big lead to win this game.
Yeah, it's definitely their game to lose at the moment. They just picked up their first Dragon of the game at 40 minutes. They've been behind for a long time, but now they're almost 10k gold in the lead at this 40-minute mark. That 6% and AD and AP that they just got from Dragon is going to be very, very useful in these fights, too.
Definitely is, and I mean, that's something that we've talked about before, is it's the first Dragon buff you get, and in the early game doesn't make too much difference. I mean, 6%, obviously that scales up with the more AD that you have from items and things, and obviously AP as well. So, at the early game, when you're first likely to get that, it's not going to make that much difference to your damage, but when you get to this stage, when your team has 70,000 gold, you have a lot of AD and AP, and 6% extra on top of that, it's going to give you a significant boost in damage.
Yeah, I think right now H2k is in a really bad spot to stop this, especially because the engage and the goal lead of SK Prime is so huge that they can do pretty much anything at this point. When H2k, the only thing they can try to do is waiting for a bad dive from SKP and try to get like a couple of kills to come back into this game. But I think it's gonna be really hard time for them.
Especially with Baron spawning in about a minute. If this push fails for SKP, they've got a very good fallback plan, just going for that Baron, sieging up the Baron minions, which we've already established several times H2k cannot deal with, and then going for the push again. This top tower is already so low, they're going to have to deal with super minions in the bot lane. H2k need a miracle right now, they need a good engage.
And Godbro is going in, he manages to get the ultimate onto Forbidden. Is he going to go down? Still has Zhonya's available. He might just survive this one. There's the Zhonya's, but it's going to be 3 kills already coming across. Forbidden goes down. The last man standing is Odwamne. He goes down. It's a clean ace for SK Prime. And they're going to take the second game in this series. After being so far behind in the early game, they've managed to pull it back. It's going to go 1-1. We're going to head into Game 3.
Yeah, and once again, he's still back, doing a great job on that early game, that mid game, and that team fight. I think he's really surprising me out of this series.